I am Becca, the GM for Heroes at the Edge of Desolation, the 13th Age game that we host here on Iconic Production. And with me are some of the Obsidian Souls, our lovely players. We have Paul, Rachel, and Lee. Chris, who plays Darul, will be here later. So you got most of the group. Should be fine, right?
I feel like we have like an honorary Darul right there, right next to Lee.
Kind of. I don't think he's as welcomed, though, today.
Yeah, probably not as smart.
No,
So
but he's 10 times cuter.
Yeah, he kind of is. Anyway, we won't tell him we said that. I will go ahead and give the recap unless someone else wanted to. No takers. Okay.
I don't have any of my notes or my dice or anything. I'm sorry.
That is fine. I'll roll for you all night. It'll be cool.
That's probably gonna have to happen.
Nope, I got my own die.
So last week, Heroes at the Edge of Desolation are in the Desolates. And in the Desolates, they had discovered a very lovely dungeon that was holding the Scorpion General, a woman from ages past who was held here in order to stop her rampaging and destroying of the worlds. It was mostly successful, but this group went in to make sure that she either stayed there or stayed dead. Were successful in that endeavor, and afterwards, by backtracking an old riddle, found their way out of the dungeon.
She's gonna roll for me.
And back out into the Desolates. At which point they decided to reenact a previous stunt involving teasing a sandworm and having it chase them through tunnels and the desert. This one was attempted to be reenacted by V, our little Varling friend, and unfortunately he fell short and he was lost to the Desolates. Between that and Orion leaving in order to regain his honor, the group has gotten a little bit smaller, and Y, our dear Chaos Sorcerer, has kind of retreated in on herself and is moping in the corner for this session. But before we continue, I need everybody to roll some d6s and tell me about your icon relationships. So, Lee, my dear, would you like me to roll them for you? Or do you want to borrow someone's dice? I can roll them for you. You're muted, my dear.
Marty just gave me dice, but I didn't know if you wanted to roll for me or not.
Go for it.
Okay. Cool.
Do you have 2 with Demoloth and 1 with the guild?
Myself, I got a 5 with the Wanderer.
Alright, 1 with the Wanderer today. Alright.
I got a 5 with the Rivner.
Alright.
Oh no!
Did they just go everywhere?
I just went down into the abyss of the
Count.
Yep.
It happens.
Oh, he had more dice than I was expecting. Okay. Well done. Just gonna shove that all back.
Dave and Miles, do you have a plan for, what you're going to do next?
So I guess first question, did the sandworm end up going towards the army?
me a perception check. Wisdom level, something that helps you see far into the distance.
Oh my gosh! Oh, sorry. I just rolled a 656.
Oh, okay.
So that's 2 for the guild and 1 for Demoth.
Yep.
Neato.
For perception check, I got 15.
Okay. You had seen V running in that direction with a big ripple of sand. There was a burst of sand and V is no more. It's unsure if they are going to continue in that direction.
Cool.
Vave,
Well,
I was going to ask Vave, now that you have exited the dungeon, what are some of your first thoughts? Huzzah, we're alive.
Ooh, what now?
All right, your sarcasm?
What would your character be thinking right now?
Who, what now? I don't know.
Let's get paid. Let's fight an army. What would the warlord be thinking right now?
Well, I still maybe want to go get the armor that my gauntlet talks about. So, there's that too.
Cool.
You were headed south for something, so.
Would you be talking to your gauntlet, asking it where to go?
Sure.
You are so annoying today. This has been him all day. I'm so sorry.
I mean, it's dogs. So, Vave, you're out in the sunlight and you are talking to your gauntlet. And are you trying to ask it any new questions? Or some of the old ones?
I guess I want to ask it about, like, who... They told me a little bit about who made the armor, but I just want to know more about what the purpose was and how it was made, and about a little bit more about who made it, I guess.
Okay. So as you're talking to him about this, the gauntlet, he tells you that how would he tell you this? Have you been doing anything or saying anything in order to get your gauntlet's approval? I know that's kind of a funny question.
I mean, we killed an important person. Does that count for anything?
It does, for sure. And all the elemental crushing that you have been doing definitely sparks an interest.
I would add in there that she knocked me out and her gauntlet told her good job.
He did. He was quite impressed with that. So he gives you a little bit of information. But he almost like brushes off the importance of the maker, because he tells you it was made, the armor was made far to the north. It was made by a wizard who was then killed by his apprentice, and the pieces were scattered to the wind.
So, did somebody intentionally scatter them?
Yes, the apprentice intentionally scattered them because the apprentice feared the power. He knew he couldn't control it, and the gauntlet kind of laughs and mutters something about no one can, but he feared it, so he scattered it to the four winds.
So what what was the purpose of the armor?
To rule the world.
Cool.
Yeah, and it reminds you that there are two pieces of the armor here on this world.
So there are multiple on other worlds?
Plains of Dust and Ash, things like that, I would assume.
Stuff like that. But he can't tell you exactly where unless he's on that plane, and then he can kind of help point you in the right direction.
I think while all this is happening, I would go over to Trip and ask if it's a good idea for me to try and lure the sandworm, or if we should just call it good and go home.
Oops. Well, I mean, like, we wanted to deal with this army. The army is coming towards the place. She's not there anymore, but I mean, since the sandworm failed drastically, I don't really have another option.
I mean,
You still
I
got
can go
like
play
four
cat and
more
mouse
people.
again. I played cat and mouse last time, so.
I mean, like, I was excited for a sandworm, but the rolls are not in my favor.
I'm feeling optimistically confident if you're worried about rolls.
Then if you're thinking you're doing well, if you're optimistically confident, then I would say let's try it again.
Cool. I think at that moment I would hand you all of my stuff except for a dagger. My my old dagger that is now also dull from pulling out geodes.
Mm-hmm.
And I would say be right back.
Oh God.
BRB. All right, so Miles is heading out all by himself to do this. Trip and Vave, are you gonna let him go?
I mean, I would assume so.
Cool. Vave, you're okay with him just taking off? Okay.
Wow.
Just
I have
checking.
some really good friends here.
Hey, you tried to stab me to death, so I don't want to hear anything from you.
I mean, I think Vave isn't mad at Miles.
I did also volunteer for it, so I'm not mad about this, but yeah. Anyway, all right. So I guess in that case, what do I need to do? Is it going to be the same 3 rolls that we did with the Barling, or
quite possibly? Yes. When are you going to start looking for the worm?
probably right away? Considering I watched it go away in a poof of sand, I probably would have understood kind of where it was going, or
Okay.
I'd have some idea as to where it would be.
So yeah, make that intelligence check.
So that's gonna be, that'll be 21 with a background.
Okay. Yeah, you kind of figure out where exactly it is going to be, and then you have to convince it to follow you.
Oh, I should have brought one of those gems. I forgot to grab one.
I mean, if you want to go back, you can.
Cool. Yeah, I'm gonna go back and grab one of those gems.
Hey, Rachel, can you roll a 10-sided dice for me, please?
Oh, I don't like that.
7.
Okay. Yeah, Miles comes trotting on back, picks up a gem, goes trotting back out. Nothing seems to happen.
I don't like that. I don't like that at all. You guys are watching me, right?
Yep.
Cool.
Babe's deep in
That
conversation.
Makes me feel a little bit better. All right. So that's how I'm going to lure it, since I roughly know where it is still. Here, wormy.
Give me a charisma check to see if you can convince the worm through noise, food, body language.
That's going to be 21 with Temple Diplomat as my background.
Okay, so what do you say? As a temple diplomat, you would be saying something then. What do you say to convince a worm to follow you?
Well, considering it's a worm, I think I would literally be saying, "Here, wormy." Considering it's not, I don't know, it's not like I'm trying to talk to a priest and be like, "Ah, yes, and in my personal opinion, with all of my experience and all of these things."
Right. Okay.
So, yep,
So
pretty baseline talking.
okay. It takes some time. Trip, Darul, and Vave, you along with the explorers, back close to the rocks, are watching Miles kind of dancing around with a gemstone. And every now and then you can hear the here, wormy, 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 here, wormy, wormy, wormy. And it takes some time. Miles, how long would it take you before you gave up?
I don't know how far away how far away in time is the army? Are they like still? I don't know.
They're like
Was it?
7 hours, 6 hours, yeah.
Oh, okay. I'd probably go at it for like an hour and a half before I'd be like, "Wow, this is stupid. I'm coming back."
Okay, I mean you are definitely out there for a solid hour before you feel something moving towards you. Now, are you going to wait and see what it is, or are you going to start moving?
Oh, I'm definitely gonna start moving, but I'm gonna keep saying "here, wormy, wormy" as I start, moving away.
All right, so now make that make a Constitution roll to see how long you last running in front of the worm.
That's a great question. So can I use a background on this? I feel like Rival
You can
Temple
tell me
Infiltrator
why.
still Rival Temple Infiltrator, because people would be chasing me if they ever caught me. And so I would have to, one, know the routes to get out, but also to have the stamina to run away through whatever I needed to.
Okie dokie. I will allow it.
Cool. So that's gonna be 26.
All right. You are able to run for quite some time. And you run to the worm. Or not to the worm, to the army with the worm,
Oh, cool.
in theory, chasing you. Now, how are you going to get away so you are not trapped between the worm and the oncoming army?
How close is the worm to me?
Do you want to stop and look?
I don't want to stop, but I might glance over my shoulder as I'm running.
Alright, you don't trip. Well done.
Thanks.
You're welcome. It's maybe 50 yards behind you.
50 yards?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I think I
And
can
it
deal
is
with that.
faster than you.
Yeah, that makes sense. So I think what I would do, how would the army be? So as I'm approaching the army, what do I see?
You see a lot of. They're not super disciplined, but a lot of squadrons of foot soldiers. And you do see a couple big siege weaponry, like some rams. Not like oxen, but like ramming tools. You see some people on horseback, and you see a lot of supply wagons. The supply wagons look a little burned.
It's like I did that or something. Anyways, so I think what I would do is I would run sort of straight towards them. And maybe when I'm like, I don't know, a football field away, I would start yelling.
Your claw. Oh, never mind.
I would start yelling, help, help, and keep running straight at them. We'll see what that ends up doing. But I might sort of veer to like one side of them. And then I would have like the crystal in my hand running towards one of the guys and be like, here, take this thing. Ideally, I would just hand this thing to this person and then just keep running and then run away.
Okay. Cool. Darul, Fave, and Trip. Miles is running, and you are watching him run for. Well, first of all, you watch him dance for a good hour, and then you watch him run as the sandworm is starting to come up behind him. Are you guys doing anything, or are you like pulling out a bowl of popcorn, or?
I would advance as far as I could under cover
Okay.
to get close with some potions handy, with the bombs I have, with other things, just to. I don't know what I could do, but I've got a feeling smashing things with a hammer might help at some point, so I just want to be ready.
Okay.
I go with him. We tail close behind just in case he needs backup. But I do also hunt for, food.
Makes sense. I haven't, actually fed you in a long time.
Right.
Yeah, say that like she can't fend for herself, but oh well.
It's more like snacks. I haven't given her snacks recently.
It's more like if you don't feed Trip, she'll just start eyeing you as food.
And maybe, make some shady deals with people about, I don't know, for your memories or your soul, or it's really fuzzy right now.
Maybe.
You think you're so funny.
I can't remember.
Sorry, side tangent. Anyone who's watching this, if you haven't seen that episode, it's kind of hilarious. Both Trip and I rolled nat ones, like on mental checks, and it was just like ridiculous.
Oh, so bad.
I can't not recall the events in question, my liege.
Yeah, you can. I'm sorry.
So that happened.
It did.
Mm-hmm.
So, Vave, are you following along, or are you going to stay back with the other explorers on the rocks where we know it's safe?
I'll follow along, I guess.
Okay.
Move towards everyone.
If you are trying to be sneaky, please give me stealth rolls. If you are simply trying to keep up and you don't care if you are seen, then you don't have to give me a stealth roll.
Why?
Is stealth under dex?
Yes.
Yeah, stealth is dex. Stand by.
23
Not being sneaky.
Okay.
for stealth. This is hot, but I'm so hungry that I don't care.
Oh boy. Freaking beautiful.
Hey, nice. We both rolled the same base. Actually, wait. I think that's higher. Never mind.
I rolled a 23 for my stealth check.
All right. You guys sneak along, and Vave just walks behind you, kind of hands in her pockets, strolling along. At least that's how I picture it. Maybe that's different. I don't know.
That's kind of what I was thinking.
Oh, good. All right. Yeah. So strolling along behind everybody else. Paul, as you are running towards this army, yelling "Help! Help!" the majority of the people who see you do not react negatively. What is your armor class?
17.
Okay. The arrows that are shot at you kind of fall harmlessly around you. And a person on horseback comes riding up and yells at them all to stop shooting. And he is going to stop and he's going to peer past you in an attempt to understand what you are doing. And he sees nothing. So he is going to then put his horse in your path and say, "Hold there." Who
And
are
in that
you?
case,
Say that again.
I'm going to say, help. I'm going to hand him the gem.
Okay.
And then I think I'm just going to be like, look out, point, and run.
All right. A few of them are going to reach out and try to stop you.
That's fair.
Two of them do. Make a strength check for me. Or actually, no, just roll a d20, a basic save.
I did not make a basic save.
You didn't make an 11?
No.
Okay. So you made it get about halfway through the line in the army.
Question.
Mm-hmm.
Can I use swashbuckling right now?
You could.
I would like to do that.
Yes.
May I just make a quick note? Paul, you don't say, can I use swashbuckling? You say, I'm going to use swashbuckling.
Okay,
That's
so
part
the
of
only,
the feat. No, that's part of the feat. You say, I'm going to use swashbuckling. I mean, look at the feat. Like, I love playing the rogue in here, and I just want to encourage your confidence in all of this. You just say, I'm swashbuckling.
So-
Then you describe it, and just awesomeness happens.
the only reason I asked is because you have to use momentum. And so theoretically, I think I would have momentum from running away from this guy since I made a success there.
Yeah.
It was more the question of if I had that momentum to spend
All right.
rather
Yeah.
than can I use the ability.
Paul, you're just questioning the details. Just charisma. Just, you know what? I'm going to give you just a personal out of character buff to charisma. You're awesome. Believe in yourself. Don't question things and just say, I'm doing this.
Cool. So in that note,
Do it.
rather than failing that save, what am I gonna do? I'm gonna jump like a panther. I'm gonna get down on like all fours and
Okay.
like leap over these people and like blitz off to the side.
Okay, sure. So, do you push off of any of the people or just the ground?
I think since these people are reaching at me, I'm assuming they are like trying to reach out with their arms.
Yeah.
So I might just kind of grab their arms and sort of yank.
Okay. Okay, so in what was the beginnings of a game of Red Rover, where they were going to stop your forward momentum, you use that to push off, maybe do a flip or two, land on the far side, and keep going.
Yep.
At which point, the worm behind you wreaks havoc.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Those of you who are following and watching, you watch as this giant worm kind of crests up and out, and then back down. My friends who were walking behind Vave, Darul, and Trip, I need you guys to make a perception check.
It's coming towards you guys now.
Cool. It's perception.
Intelligence. Wisdom.
Excuse me, I was interrupted by a puppy.
Yes.
Perception is under wisdom?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Excellent. Thank you.
Yeah.
I got a 21.
21. Vave,
I got a 13.
13. Okay.
I had a 20.
And a
Good.
20.
Not
Um,
natural, just with my odds.
So, Vave, you notice that
Hey.
the ground behind the worm is full of very loose sand. And as a result, you kind of go to the side because you don't want to deal with that. Excuse me. But what is fascinating to you is the fact that you don't see what is happening right away, but Darul and Trip see these little black shells kind of rising to the surface as well, like coming up through the sand. And Trip, you got a 23?
Hold on. 21.
21. Okay, you and Darul both got 21. And you guys see that there is a little itsy bitsy teensy weensy, but really not that small, sandworm,
Mm-hmm.
like sandworm larvae, coming on up.
Okay. And that's the black shells.
Yeah, and so so the black shells are kind of following the big worm, and then
Okay.
the little larvae are following the black beetles. And as you were watching, you realize, you kind of turn around and you see that one is coming up behind Vave. Okay.
Like behind her, like I need to start screaming.
Like maybe somebody should tell her that there's something behind her. Yes.
Yeah, I'm gonna start screaming, but she can't understand me, so I'm just gonna, I don't know, gesticulate, like behind, like I don't know, like
Okay. So Trip is attempting to tell you something, Vave.
You also saw it, so you can.
Darul's
Okay.
busy.
I'm
And
gonna.
at this point in time, you guys realize you were following a little too close behind. And you are in kind of the tail end of the sandworm larvae that have come up. So, I need you guys to roll initiative.
Yeah, you guys aren't going to get much help from me for a little bit.
Miles, you also need to roll initiative.
What? Okay.
You're
24.
I mean, you could like not do anything for a while, but
24.
24 for the rule.
Initiative,
Initiative.
is that...
Dex
sorry,
plus
is
level.
initiative Dex plus level?
Yeah, roll initiative.
Oh.
I don't actually roll.
No, you get what, 9?
Yes.
I'm 18.
I got 21.
Nice. All right. So Darul, you are the first one who is ready to act, as you realize that there are about three of these larvae that are coming up behind Vave. You realize you don't have to deal with the beetles and the larvae in front of you because they are following the sandworm. It's the ones behind Vave that will catch up to her and cause trouble.
So I will. Oh, shoot! Wait a minute. I looked at the wrong. Handy dandy little cards
Ooh, nice.
to look at my fun talents and feats that certain very handsome people named JM made for me.
Very kind, very kind.
Since I'm not engaged with anyone yet, nobody's staggered, I can't utilize anything quite yet. But I'm going to just leap into it and attack the little one closest to Vave.
Okay. Give me an attack roll.
Does an 18 hit?
No, it does not.
Well, then 3 damage.
All right. So,
Doesn't hit.
an 18 does not hit. Yes, these are tough little buggers, as your hammer kind of just squishes instead of like smashes. But Vave, you watch Darul come flying past you and hit something behind you, and you turn around and you see there are 3 sandworm larvae behind you. What do you do?
I'm gonna check where and see where Miles is at. Like I just want to know where everybody's at.
Okay. For Miles, go ahead and make that perception check.
Perception is intelligence, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is going to be like your quick action.
Oh man. Yes. 16.
9 plus 7.
17.
All right. You can see your furry friend jumping and circling back around. It will
Okay,
take
so he's
him
like
maybe 2 rounds to get back.
That makes sense.
okay. So I guess I'll turn around and try to hit one of the sandworms that were behind me.
All right. Do you want to hit the same one that Darul is hitting, or one of the other ones?
One of the other ones.
Okay. Go ahead. How are you hitting it?
I was gonna hit it with my gauntlet, but I kind of did not hit.
Okay.
Yeah. It's a 13.
13 misses, but you do 3 points of damage as you do your level. Excuse me. All right. Miles, I'm assuming you're running back.
Yeah, I'm still running.
Okay.
I would like to just double check that no one else is following me and that most of the focus has gone to the giant sandworm.
Yeah, most of the focus is on the giant sandworm. There might be one or two people that are pointing at you, but then everybody gets distracted because something comes up and down, and now there's beetles too.
Cool. I'm assuming I'm like circling around, avoiding all of that mayhem.
I assumed so, but if you'd like to go through the mayhem, you're welcome to.
No, I think I would like to go around it for sure.
Okay.
So, just gonna keep running.
All right. Around it goes. Red or white, Vave?
Red.
All right, good choice. Oh, wow. That's still pretty sweet AC. Does a 17 hit your AC?
Yeah.
All right, you are going to take 15 points of damage as it starts gnawing on you.
Okay.
And Darul is also going to take 15 points of damage. As it gnaws on him. And the third one is heading towards Trip, but her lovely little golem steps in front.
Do we still have that?
She has one. She has a whatever I called it, steel golem that was following her, and she's only ever given it the orders to protect her, so that's what it does, and it takes the damage as it begins to gnaw on its leg. So, Trip, it is your turn.
I'm gonna cast Boon of Destiny on Darul's top of the turn order,
Yes.
and on Darul.
Cool.
And can I potentially move away from the sandworm larvae and stuff?
Yeah. You can move away. You are not engaged with it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. To get further, to get far away, it'll take more movement.
Yeah, no, I don't want to get far away. I just kind of want to get away and maybe more towards them, but still kind of in a healthy medium. Okay.
Great. It's back to the top. Darul, it is your turn. The escalation die is at +1.
Sorry, just making notes. I am going to. I'm so sorry. Just 1 second. I'm going to engage the sandworm baby larva that's on me with my sandworm skin gauntlets.
Okay.
So, as was illustrated previously, strength this level versus 3.
Roll again. You've been of Destiny.
You are correct. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Those were both terrible.
I can't see that far away.
Does a 13 hit PD?
It does not.
Well, that did not work. And I didn't get stats about dealing level damage with that attack. So I assume I just miss and don't deal miss damage.
Okay. You kind of reach out to punch it, and you're expecting this electrical shock that doesn't happen. But you think maybe next time you'll get it. All right. Vave. You're muted. Everyone is muted except for me. Apparently, I just like to hear myself talk. Yes.
I'm gonna do Death's Gauntlet on the one that's on me.
Okay.
Yeah, but you hit it.
21
Yeah, what is that against?
PD.
Yes. That is successful.
So it's ongoing negative energy damage.
Okay. So, at the beginning of its turn, I'll ask you to roll that damage.
Cool.
Cool. Alright. Anything else, Vave?
Nope, that's it.
Cool.
Sparky?
I haven't been able to resurrect Sparky yet.
Oh, okay.
You haven't. But I do have a question. In if you have any of the summoning spells.
I do,
Okay.
but they're all daily, so I'm always nervous to use it because I feel like I'm not going to be able, or I'm going to want to use it later.
You should use it now.
So.
Do it.
True. That is a good point. However, you haven't used them at all yet, so there's
You're
that.
right. Okay.
Alright. But that's the end of your turn. Miles, you are running back. I want to remind you that you have a dagger.
I do remember that. I've
Okay.
been discussing this with Vave this entire time, how all I have is my old dagger, and I don't know. You can tell me, how good of a dagger is it? I think it was a 1d8 originally. What are we at now?
Yeah, I mean, so you'd be rolling 3 dice. Was it a D? If it was a D8, sure. It's just not your obsidian dagger, which is nicer.
Right.
What's your
Yeah, my
obsidian dagger?
it has an extra +6 on it.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, it's a D8 for rogues. So you'd be rolling 3d8 and then plus Dex.
Okay.
I think. So. All right. So
Is
Miles
it
is
plus
running.
Is it plus just the Dex modifier, or is it Dex and level?
Just the modifier, not with the level.
Okay.
All right. The larvae's attack. We'll start with Darul this time. White, red, or yellow?
Red, please.
All right. Vave, white or yellow?
White.
All right. Vave, he rolled a natural 1 for you. Darul, you got hit. 15 more points of damage. Your golem took damage. Trip.
I would just like to use That's Your Best Shot since I just got hit and use a recovery.
Okay. Trip, it's your turn.
I am. So I can shoot things from afar, right?
Yeah.
Like I'm not too far away from that.
No, you're nearby to everything.
Okay. I'm going to do. I'm gonna. I love how I know which one I want to do, but I can't find it.
Mm-hmm.
Even the strong will perish.
Okay.
So that's charisma plus escalation die.
Okay.
So for at current level. And that is driving me nuts that I can't find it. Oh, I found it. Thank God. Okay. So so we are 3rd level.
Correct.
So 5 plus charisma plus escalation die
2.
damage. So the escalation die.
2.
Do you roll an attack, or does it have to make a save?
So I've never rolled. Usually that tells me when I need to roll.
Right. Does it say roll or not roll?
No.
All right. It just says do this damage.
Yep.
Okay.
So for 3rd level, so that's 5 plus charisma. My charisma is 5, I
Hey,
think.
Becca,
Mm-hmm.
my damage, the ongoing damage, was 12.
Yes. Roll it. Thank you. Was how much?
12?
Ooh, nice. And then I can make a save against it, right?
That's 10, 11, 12.
Yes.
That's 12 damage. So I attack the baby worm that's on Darul for 12.
All right. The baby worm that's on the roll for 12. Rachel, it failed its save.
Cool, thanks.
Okay. Thank you. All right. So it takes 12 points of damage. We are back to the top of the round. Escalation die is at +2. Darul, then Vave, then Miles. Miles, you will be within combat range.
Since my gloves failed me last time, I'll just try to strike the little sandworm guy on me with a hammer. Oh, that's lovely. Natural 19 standby. 27 hits, I'm going to assume.
27 does hit. Their armor class is 22.
It's so kind of you to tell us that.
I'm just generous like that.
Well, 2 of my damage dice have maxed out. Let's see, and then that one and see 21 damage. And that's it.
All right. It is definitely staggered and struggling. All right, Vave.
Yay.
Okay, I'm going to summon a horror.
Ooh.
Very excited about it. I'm going to
Go
try
for her.
to summon a ghoul.
Ooh, a ghoul. I'm excited. This.
Do I just do it? Wait. Initiative +8.
Yep.
Is that how I do it?
Yep.
Okay. Oh, that's not 26. Wait, initiative. I'm sorry, hold on.
First time she summoned a ghoul, so
If you would like, your ghoul could go on your turn, if that would just make it easier. But yes, you do summon the ghoul. Do you say anything to bring it back? Yeah, no. You're doing it correctly.
Okay, cool. No, I kind of just have to pause and like concentrate for a minute and then do some like hand motions to kind of like bring it above the ground, and then it's there.
Ah! All right, so you have summoned a ghoul. All right. Yeah, so this thing rises up out of the sand. It's kind of humanoid, but it's clearly been in the sand for a really long time. And it looks like maybe it was once eaten by a sandworm or something. But yes, you can. So you summon it, and it will fight for you. So you can go ahead and I might be doing it wrong, but I want you to go ahead and have it attack.
Cool. It's gonna attack the one that is headed towards Trip or on Trip's school.
Trip's Golem.
Golem? Yeah.
Golem. Okay.
Oh, nice. Okay, first I got a natty 20.
Tight.
Second, it says natural even hit.
Mm-hmm.
The target is vulnerable. It attacks versus it. It has a crit range expanded by 2. Does that matter if it's a natty 20 anyway?
Well, so on the next time that someone attacks this specific sand larvae, if they roll an 18 or higher, it is a critical.
Okay, so that it counts for everybody.
Yes.
Cool.
But yes, so you do double damage. So,
Okay.
Hold that, you should.
Wait, I don't know what I'm rolling.
If you look next to the claws and bites,
Claws and
it's a
bites.
+8 versus armor class. And it has 8 damage, so double that is it's gonna be 16.
Cool.
Yay for having the books and knowing where to look.
Yay.
Hey. Alright, cool. Miles, you are coming running back, and you see Vave kind of stop and wave her hands, and then this thing rises up out of the sand and goes leaping, unnervingly like a pantheron, at one of the sand larvae. What do you do?
Super creepy. I think so. I guess, can I see my obsidian dagger and just like pick it up as a quick movement?
It's somewhere on Trip's body. She put it in some bag somewhere.
Okay. So I assume I can't do that as a quick action?
No, unless Trip had it held out for you.
No, that's okay. I think what I'll do is I'll go ahead and take the dagger that I have in my hand. And I'm going to go ahead and attack the one that's next to the golem, assuming that's the one I would be running up closest to.
All right, sure.
And since it's engaged with the golem, I'm going to use sneak attack, which gives me a plus or an extra D8 to roll if I hit.
It's now technically engaged with both the steel golem and a ghoul.
Oh, cool.
So yes.
Does a 22 hit?
A 22 is the armor class.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
That's beefy.
Yes, they have a very thick hide, clearly from tunneling through the sand for so long.
I mean, that makes sense. So that will be a flat 22.
22.
Oh.
All right.
What? 22. Okay. I was just double checking that I wasn't in that crit range.
Yeah, the 18. Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
It is the larvae's turn, and then it will be Trip's turn, and then we're back to the top of the round with the escalation dice of 3. But here we go. The sand larvae. Darul. Yeah, that's a natural 18. So plus 13. It hits you. 15 points of damage. Vave. Oh, that was a natural 20.
Oh my
30
god.
points of damage.
I'm 100% dead.
And the golem
30.
is almost dead. 100% dead, like you,
She's negative
Wait,
9.
30. Yeah.
Alright. That's cool.
Yeah. super cool.
Cool.
Luckily, your ghoul continues to fight.
Truth. Oh, can I take ongoing damage to the
Yes.
Sandworm.
thing?
Yes, you
Where's
can.
my-
You can just use mine. It's right there.
Where?
That's a good one.
I don't know where my D8. It's a good one. Huh? 11 points of damage.
All right. Okay. All of these worms are staggered,
I don't know where my D20 is.
and
Including the one that's on the golem.
yes, the ghoul did a lot of damage to that.
Okay.
And then I was just rereading this. Vave, the expanded crit range is just for undead attacks. So just your ghoul is going to get that extra. But if you also had Sparky, then it'd be the ghoul and Sparky because they're both undead. But Miles is not undead, so Miles doesn't count.
Cool. Thanks.
All right, Trip.
So I would like to try. So Babe is like dead, deceased.
She hasn't reached negative staggered,
Okay.
so she's
Okay.
still with us.
Ish.
I think it would be smart to either stabilize her or if you can do something, bring her back.
So I can't bring her back, but I can do that talent thing where I give you a +5 to your death saves.
Okay.
So, instead of saving that golem, I'm gonna let it die for you.
Wow, try not to sound so.
So the way that works is
If side note, if you want me to, I can go stabilize her next round.
I mean, I guess that probably sounds more efficient.
Can you, though?
Because I'm only able
Can you,
to
though?
help her with her death saves.
Cool.
I can't. So you're gonna help her?
Yeah, I'll go ahead and try and make that save for her.
Okay, because
Okay.
you don't have any health potions or anything on you.
No, it would just be it's the stabilizing or dying character.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay.
So
Cool.
Okay, so I think I'm gonna. Okay. I'm gonna do the same thing I did earlier. Even the strong will perish. So that's 5 + 5 + 3.
Mm-hmm. It's still 2.
Oh, it's still 2. So it's another. I'm gonna do 12 damage at the one that's on the golem.
Okay. Okay. It is holding on with its fingertips.
Cool.
All right, we are back at the top. Darul, the escalation dice is now at +3. And then, Vave, you're going to make your death save. Yes, ma'am.
Question.
Yes.
So, I have a thing.
I love
Somewhere.
things. What are things?
Yeah, me too. I think it was Death's Kneel, but I don't know where it is. Oh, here it is. Okay. So, Death's Kneel, and I've never actually used this before because I was reading it last time.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So it says when you use, okay, hold on. As a quick action, you can drop a nearby enemy that has 5 hit points or fewer down to 0. So I guess that doesn't apply when I'm unconscious.
Right. But
Okay.
at this point, well, you're actually if you're going to use it as a third level spell, 10 hit points. And so yeah, you would ask me, hey, Becca, dear GM, are there any of these sandworms that are less than 10 hit points? I would have to tell you yes or no, and then you could heal. But yeah, since you are unconscious, you can't cast that.
Okay, cool.
But once you come to consciousness and have another action, then you could use it.
Okay, sounds good.
So for my turn,
Mm-hmm.
I will move to use one of my adventurer level potions and stabilize Vave.
Cool.
And if not, heal her. I'll try to do to stabilize her. I have a potion. I have 2 potions, but to stabilize her, will it increase or automatically work with a potion, or
Pouring a potion into somebody's mouth will automatically heal them. Yes.
okay?
Before you do that, you would have to leave the sandworm you are next to
Mm-hmm.
to get over to her, so you need to
Disengage.
make a disengage check. Which
Okay.
is just rolling the dice, and it's an 11 plus, you get away. Oh, that's a 1. Do you still want to get away? It's going to take an attack of opportunity on you.
Yep, I'm gonna try.
Alright, well, that is a 17. What is your armor class?
18.
It
Nice.
misses.
Fortunately. So I tried to reach out and jump out and go, Vave! And yet the little baby sandworm somehow,
Yeah.
I don't know.
It lunged with you, and you stepped on it, and you fell. It happens. It didn't bite you, though.
Hey,
Yay.
that's
But
something.
also, ooh.
Yes, quite. You are currently prone on the ground, which means things and people would have a bonus to hit you.
Delightful. Would they get a bonus for snuggling me? Like, what if the sandworms just wanted to snuggle me?
If they just wanted to snuggle, they could also get a bonus for that. Their snuggling is not
Okay.
kind.
I'm sorry, why is not here? And I just felt a natural gap in the
No,
strangeness.
I hear you. Yes, there's that gap between the normal and the special. Okay. So Darul has fallen, but it is Vave's turn. Vave, I need you to roll death save.
So the potion thing didn't work?
No, he didn't get over to her.
Okay, what is a death save exactly? It's just
roll a d20.
She didn't make her save.
I got an 8.
Okay. I believe you are now 1 step closer to death.
Yay.
I mean, hey.
I mean, she's died twice, like for real. So, well, 3
Yeah,
times.
but she was
Death.
told she doesn't get to come back if she dies again.
Yeah, I mean that would make sense.
I'm just saying. All right, death and dying.
It's a hard save 16 plus, right? Oh,
Yes.
if you want to get a recovery.
No, 15 or less, you take 1 step closer. So just mark that you missed 1.
Okay, hold on. It says, so I have sorta dead,
Yes.
and it says the first time you die each level, roll a normal save and add your charisma modifier.
Okay, what's your charisma modifier?
3.
Okay,
So that would
8
get
plus
me
11. That would get you to 8 plus 3 would get you to 11. So you could, it's a save. So you can roll your recovery. You can't stand up and do anything, but you are
Okay,
no
that's
longer on death's door.
cool.
She doesn't get to use her recovery.
She
No,
gets
she
to use a recovery, but she doesn't get to
Oh.
do anything.
Cool.
Miles, it is your turn.
Cool. I'm gonna just do the same thing again. So I'm gonna use my dagger and and sneak attack. So I did not get it that time.
Okay.
So it will take 3 points of damage.
Okay. Alrighty. Yeah, it is. It is so close. Sir.
Question on momentum. If I miss an attack, does that make me lose momentum, or is it only if I get hit?
You would have to read the rules. I think it's when you get hit.
Okay, I'll read through it. I just
Okay.
was wondering if you knew off the top of your head. Cool. Continue.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll start with the rule. Yeah, that hit you. For 27. He takes 15 points of damage.
Darrell takes 15 points of damage.
Yes, he does. All right. Miles, yellow or white?
I'll take yellow.
Yeah, okay, so that's a 27 to hit. So you take 15 points of damage.
I'm going to. Well, I guess first question: what type of attack was it? Was it a melee attack?
Yes. It was a biting
Cool.
attack.
Is there another enemy nearby this sandworm?
Another, like, you or another sandworm?
Sandworm.
Nearby, yes.
Engaged. Sorry.
No.
I'm-
You are not engaged
I'm
with
sorry.
other sandworms.
I'm sorry, Becca. We are not the enemies here. Just please keep that in mind as a GM. Are you sure you know that?
I'm gonna go ahead and use my my roll with it. So I'll take half damage. Is that gonna be 8 or 7?
8.
8. Okay, sounds good.
Okie dokie. And then the last one kind of slithers over Vave to the golem and misses. So, Vave, because you collapsed, your ongoing damage from gauntlets
Dang.
does not continue.
You can roll
Bummer.
it. Are you sure?
No, I don't want to roll it.
So, Trip, it is your turn, and then we're back to the top of the round. These sandworms are looking very, very hurt.
I'm gonna keep attacking the one that was on my golem
Okay,
with even the stronghold perish.
okay.
So that's 10 plus 3.
Yes. So, yeah,
So
that's
that's 13.
enough. How does this spell kill the sandworm larvae?
So I think that Trip would just kind of like extend her spindly little hand, and the sandworm would just kind of explode into some green goop or whatever it is that's on the inside.
I think it was like a purplish goo. I think that's what Darul explained it as last time.
Okay. So purplish goo.
Cool. Dave.
Can I have my ghoul fight somebody too?
Yes.
Sorry, I missed
No,
that.
you're okay. Yeah. Have your
What's
ghoul
the
attack.
situation die at?
3.
3?
Yep.
Oh, dear goodness gracious. Sorry. So
11 with escalation.
11. So 19 versus AC.
That will not hit.
Bummer. Okay. Cool. That's it. Thanks.
Sorry. All right. Darul. Your turn. Escalation dice is +4.
Well, you read my mind. I was going to ask about that. Well, seeing as how I'm at 5 out of 50 hit points, I'm going to have to rally and dig deep. And frankly, you know what? I'll save my other potion for later. But this turn, I'm just going to have to rally and hope for the best.
Okie dokie.
Oh, that's lovely. 26. Okay.
All right. Vave. You can stand up and you and your ghoul can attack.
Cool. First I'm gonna do Death's Kneel to see if any of them are under
Yes.
10 hit points.
Cool. The one attacking Darul is 10 under has 10 hit points left.
Cool. I'm gonna do that one then.
Okay. So, what does it look like when you pull the remaining life force out of this thing and feed it into yourself?
I can think of like 20 things.
All right, so I'm gonna kneel, and then it's gonna force it.
You're forcing it to
I'm
kneel.
forcing it on its knees, and nobody else can see it. It's gonna just like feel like a rush of wind,
Okay.
but I can see its spirit coming into my body.
All right, roll a d10 and you heal that many hit points. So the rest of you guys see the worm in front of Darul just kind of get flattened. And then it's dead.
Okay, I need that though. Okay, so that was a quick action.
Yes.
How many sandworms are left?
1.
Like, cool. I'm just okay. I'll use Chant of Endings, and it's just the nearby enemy with fewest hit points. So.
Yep.
23
versus its MD, that will definitely hit.
Cool.
And it is 4d6.
$17.
17, she says. All right. You cannot do Death Knell again, but this one is also less than 10 hit points left.
Cool. Can I try to hit it with my ghoul?
Yes, the ghoul can run over there and attempt to hit it.
Does a 27?
Yes.
Cool.
Yes, it does.
All right, that's 8 points of damage. Hold on. 8 points. So, wasn't it even? Never mind. Okay, yeah, just 8 points.
All right. Those 8 points are enough.
Yes.
She just wrecked shop.
Yes,
Okay,
you did.
also, it says at the end, it says infected by any creature that is slain by a ghoul and not consumed will rise as a ghoul the next night.
Yes. Yes, it does. If your ghoul does not eat this thing, yeah, it's gonna come back as an undead sandworm.
Cool. Can I keep it?
No, you cannot keep it.
Aw.
Question: would it follow us if we left it alive?
We should try.
Well, I'm thinking if we leave it here and there's some leftover, evil guys, then maybe this ghoul would take it out the next day. But I don't know. Anyway. Or you should just eat it so we don't have to worry about an accidental ghoul sandworm hunting us down in the future.
But that could be fun.
No, I do not want to fight
That
an
could
undead
be fun.
sandworm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You're
if
not
she's
wrong.
excited about it, that means we should not be excited about that.
I'm just making a note. It's fine, guys. Cool. So, undead ghoul sandworm. Perfect. All right. You guys finish your battle and kind of turn and see the army has just scattered. Yes, the rule.
Really quick, Paul,
Yes.
out of character. Accidental Ghoul Sandworm sounds like an amazing band name.
Accidental.
Little cool sandworm.
Moving
I like
on. Sorry, that's all.
Big fan.
Big fan.
Cool. Cool. Sweet. So, yeah, you guys see the army has scattered. There are horses galloping off into the distance. Others are definitely running to the dungeon in order to maybe hopefully climb it. But the mushroom beetles and the larvae in the wake of the sandworm are definitely taking care of a lot of the army. Because I want to remind you guys that with 13th age, you are heroes. You are so much better than the average person. So
Yeah, we
you
are.
were able to so easily fend off these sand larvae. The normal everyday soldier is not quite so strong or lucky to do so. At this point in time, if you are below staggered, please use recoveries so that you are at least 2 staggered. And you guys watch as you have dispersed the army. Jacqueline, the woman who is leading the explorers, eventually comes up to you and kind of uses her toe to kick one of the dead sandworms, possibly the ghoul infected one now. And she looks at you all and looks around and says, well, I think we're heading back probably to Carax. Do you need anything?
Healing.
Since you mention it, off character for a second, is that in the same direction as, is that south? Because I think we're heading south next.
No. And, of course, I don't have my awesome map that someone printed off for me to show you guys. But I can do this. Let me get out my Sharpie. Here we go.
Cool.
So, here we have the banana shape that is the Desolates. Here is Drew.
Is there a happy tree?
Oh man.
Are there any happy trees?
Not in the Desolates, no.
Dang it.
Only desolate trees.
Here is the chitinous dungeon. here's the oasis that you found. Carex, where they're going, is over here on the coast in the port. Over here to the south is the forest of Estelin, where all the elves live. That's where Orion went to.
Yeah.
So Druthin, where Boaz is up north. Carex, where the explorers are heading to, is to the west, and beyond it is... Oh, I've just spaced on the town. Trip, where are you from again?
I
I want to say Shadowport, but that's not the right one. That's a different empire.
I didn't look back in the front, but I honestly couldn't tell you where
You
Pro
are
tip.
Shadow's Reach.
Pro tip: write down details about your character in their hometown on your character sheet.
Shadow's
It's
Reach
helpful.
is further west from Carex. You and Colin, you found Colin around Carex in one of the laboratories there.
This says Shadow's Reach.
Yes, Shadow's Reach.
Okay, so that's where I'm from.
You're from Shadow's Reach. You found Colin in Carex, and then you went on to Druthin, where you met the rest of these folk. Yes.
Okay.
Sir.
Please excuse me, just very briefly. I will keep it quick. I have to step away for a moment. However, my vote would be go back to Boaz, who has been our, I don't know if benefactor is the right word, but I feel like we might be able to persuade him to give us supplies. If not,
if we killed the lady, so he owes us a lot of gold.
See, there's a good point too.
He said you have to bring her head back for a lot of gold.
I knew it.
Yeah, you had to bring back proof. He wasn't just gonna hand you money.
Okay.
We're
masters of the prison now. Let's go back and infiltrate it and get her head and then leave. But excuse me, I'll be back in just a few. Okay, so my vote then is go back inside, get her head, and then go back. Excuse me.
Okay.
Sounds like a lot of work, but I mean, I guess if we want to get paid. Okay. So.
Well, if we go back and get her head, how long of a journey is that going to be? And is the head even still there? I thought she melted.
No, it should be still there.
No, Shani placed it in a nice little death pattern and put her heart on.
No, she took it and put it back inside.
She did some weird stuff to that body.
She sure did do some weird stuff to that body.
She did.
Girl, look at that body.
Bless her little soul.
I mean, since we know the way in and out, can we just make it a quick trip?
Like montage it?
Yeah. Yeah, it would be a montage. It would be a in and back, there and back again.
All right, I feel like that's.
Do it.
We should do that.
Yeah.
Cool. Montage.
All right. So for the montage, which one of you is going to go into which one of you is going to get everyone into the dungeon again?
Whoever has the poem memorized.
I do.
Okay. So Vave has the poem memorized, so she can lead you all back in. Excellent. And who remembers the way back to the control room?
I do.
Okay. You get back to the control room. And who is going to go down the steps and get her head? froze. Shoot. That means I'm the one who froze. So, yep. Cool. Cool beans. Hey, there everybody is. You're back.
Ooh, okay.
I assume you were gonna say who's gonna go grab the body.
Yes, the head. Yes.
I vote not me.
I
And
want
then I
to.
smiled. I asked that question and then I smiled.
Yeah, not me. That's just there's all sorts of bad ideas, and that would be one of them.
Ooh, I've got the money that we're gonna get.
Nice.
You say it's
Alright.
a bad idea.
I'm just nervous that this lady's still in my head, and I'm not excited about that.
It's
I
okay.
don't care. I don't
Yeah.
care.
I'll just go.
Vava's gonna go and get it?
Yeah.
Okay. Vave, you descend the stairs. You see her body still laying there in the middle of the nothingness that is this chamber. And you reach down to pick up her head. And when you stand back up, you see an illusion, or a mirage almost, of a man in bloody armor standing there with his arms crossed. And even though he has a helmet on and you can't see his face, you know he's just glowering at you.
What do you say?
Nothing. I'm gonna grab the head
No,
and back up
that
the
is a
stairs.
terrible idea.
All right. Sounds
No.
good.
Please tell me you don't do that.
That's what she does.
Oh,
After about 20 minutes, Vave reappears with the head.
I'm gonna ask her if it went okay.
Yeah, it was great.
I hate you.
It's awesome, dead bodies and bloody armor. Yep, it was great.
She didn't have any armor on.
Yeah, she did.
Yeah, she
No.
Yes, she did.
Yeah, she had armor on?
Yeah.
Oh. I thought she was just like in normal clothes.
No, she never really had a lot of weapons or anything. But I mean, it wasn't like super like paladin armor, but she had protection.
All right, I'm gonna do something here, since Babe isn't cooperating with me.
I don't understand what you're talking about. Vava's answered all of your questions.
I know. Okay, no, I'm gonna.
I don't have a niece ask from you either. You deserve nothing from me because you're great.
I feel like you hold really big grudges.
You tried to freaking kill me. What do you expect?
Can I cash in my Wanderer token? I would like to know, or I would know that. Oh, how do I want to say this? Because I've read the book, I am reminded that things taken out of the temple. How do I want to say this? The temple binds things into the temple that have to stay.
Okay.
That's like how it was designed. And so if anything is ever like attempted to be removed, there would be, I don't want to say like a cataclysm, but like the alarms would sound or something would happen. And maybe that was just the ghost, but
you trying to hurt us?
No, I just want to make sure that we don't accidentally unleash her. I'm like super worried right now. One, because she's in my head or might still be in my head. I don't know. I'm just like on edge constantly while I'm in this dungeon. So
Understandable. Your wanderer, that was a 5, right?
it was.
Okay. Can you roll me a d20?
It was a 9.
Okay. So, Miles, you see Fave coming back with the head, bloodied. I'm assuming she's shoving it into a bag. But maybe that's me putting assumptions upon her that I shouldn't. And you...
I'm just running around with it like this.
I mean, there's a part of me that also thinks that's happening too. I'm not going to lie. And all of a sudden, Miles, you are no longer in the dungeon. You are standing on that crystal surface where you know that part of your soul that got pulled there is. And as you look around, you see a woman, very sharp cheekbones. You cut off her head a couple hours ago.
I'd probably see her face in real life a second before this.
Standing there. And across from her is the Wanderer. An old man that you kind of recognize from... Like, you don't recognize him visually. It's more of that presence that he has, that you've felt before, that you get even from the simple notes that he has written to you, from the times he has spoken to you in dreams, or when you've been dream walking. And you realize you are stuck between these two forces. And you wait, and there's uncomfortable silence.
I guess I reach out to the wanderer, or who I think is the wanderer, and I say, "What's going on?"
This old... It's not a voice of someone who is cultured and has grown up with a lot of learning and teaching, but it is a voice that has knowledge and wisdom from being out and into the world. And he very calmly says, "You wanted the information. This is what it is. Power versus protecting. Knowledge versus wisdom. It's a choice. You are a dream walker. You walk in the dreams. What do you do it for?"
To keep people safe, to make sure things stay where they need to be.
You haven't stayed.
There have been needs elsewhere.
Very true. And you hear the woman behind you start talking, and she says, there's always needs elsewhere. You always find yourself going elsewhere. It's easier than staying still and looking at yourself in the mirror, is it not? It's hard to face your faults.
Sometimes. But I don't run away from them. I run to needs, not away from fear.
Dress it up all you want. And the Wanderer and in this, I'm assuming you have been feeling like you want to move closer to the Wanderer.
Yeah.
And so even though your feet haven't moved, you've ended up next to him and not next to the woman. And the Wanderer gently puts his hand on your shoulder and he says, sometimes running towards help can be running away from yourself. But I think you're going in the right direction. Be careful of whatever you bring out of here. But don't fear everything.
Okay.
And then you come back and almost no time has passed. Darul and Trip are talking to Vave about how to transport this thing. And what have you guys decided? How are you carrying the head out of the dungeon?
I would like to cash in my Guild of Fallen Leaves
Okay.
token.
Okay.
Well, I have two of them. Well, I have two of them because I rolled 5, 6, 5. So I'm gonna use my 6
Mhm.
to get some form of transport assistance or preservative,
Okay.
or maybe I'll just cash in both of them since I know we're kind of
Towards the end of the evening.
yeah.
Well-
I'll cash in both of them, 5 and 6 for the guild.
Okay. And at this time, you hear a humming that you recognize to be Erasmus the Thin
Good old Erasmus.
walking in. And he kind of pats Darul on the shoulder. He goes,
At the
"Good fight,
spot
good
where
fight."
my brand once was, except I don't remember that, so there's just kind of a tingly sensation on my shoulder.
Yeah,
Discomfort.
it's awkward and uncomfortable.
know
And
why.
he sees the head in Fave's hand, and he goes, "Oh, I have just the thing for that. I put it around here somewhere." And he goes under some of the crystals into like this little hole, and he pulls out this black lined
Becca.
bag. What?
The icon says you're muted?
Well, we can hear him.
Oh.
Who says
Okay.
you're muted?
Never mind.
Okay.
I don't know. I panicked. I could hear you, but
Oh.
I see a little muted icon.
I'm not muted.
Okay, I'm
No,
so sorry.
I know what he's talking about.
I
Because I keep looking at the chat, making sure they can hear
Yeah.
you. Because now I'm like, what?
They can still
Yeah,
hear
somebody
me.
said we can hear her. I'm sorry.
No,
I
it's
just
okay.
panicked.
It's okay.
You were saying wonderful things. I want to make sure everybody can hear. Keep going.
Okay, thank you. So he pulls out this black silk-lined bag. It's one of those things where he always seems to have things stashed. You know he hasn't been here that long, but he keeps finding useful things for you guys. And so he pulls out this bag, and he hands it over to Vave. And then he pauses, and he looks back at Trip, and he goes, "Or did you want to hold it? You can put the head in your... Here." Gives it over to Trip. And so then, Vave, do you put the head in the bag?
But I wanted to carry it.
I wouldn't argue with the Varthin over here. She
Up to
might
you.
bite you.
Rock, paper,
You
scissors,
want to
shoot.
carry it, Trip?
I don't think you should carry it.
But why? I wanted the head in a basket.
Rock, paper, scissors.
Sketchy. I'll do rock, paper, scissors against her.
You can have it. It's
Okay.
All
okay.
of us. Ready? We go on shoot.
Rock, paper, scissors,
Rock.
shoot.
You were
Oh.
late.
2 papers. All right.
I think
King
Trip
and
should
Babe,
carry it.
come on.
I trust that.
Wow, you don't trust me?
No, she's just a fate weaver, and I don't know. She's like spidery. I don't know why I like that.
Wow, thanks.
Wait until you see the character art. It's gonna be horrifying.
Oh, I'm expecting sheer terror.
Yes. Cool. So Trip is the one carrying the head out of the dungeon.
I'm sorry, paper beats rock, though.
Okay, we're so far past that now.
It does, unless
Yeah.
the rule you want to carry it. Would you like to carry it?
I wanted to, but apparently the Fate Weaver took that from me, which is okay. I can accept
Erasmus
that.
the Thin offered it to me.
You're
I
the
am
one
the
with
one-
the guild tokens.
Yep.
It's okay.
All right. Vave leads the way back out with her memorized steel trap of a brain. And we are going to do one last montage of you guys going from the dungeon to Druthin. Because
Woohoo.
it's not uneventful. And then we will probably end tonight with you guys going in and seeing Boaz. But so yeah, you guys have left the dungeon and you are heading back to Druthin. What
Perfect.
is the first obstacle that you guys encounter? It's a good
I'm
2-3 week journey.
I'm gonna say the first thing we encounter is kind of right as we leave. We need a way to seal the hidden tunnel, or at least seal it so that less people would be able to find it.
Okay, so do you think you need to seal it, or is it collapsing on you?
Ooh, let's say it's collapsing. That's
Alright.
more exciting.
Who is going to help the group escape from the collapsing tunnels? The rule is... Alright, how do you do that?
I can help collapse them, but I guess if we're escaping, then my instincts from being a dwarf, living in mines and mountains for most of my life, kick in to usher people away from the faster collapses and to just get out. So I'm able to identify some of the places just through my gut and say, avoid this, go this way. Here's how we need to do.
Okay. 3 days later, what is the obstacle you guys encounter?
When we awake on our third day, we're surrounded by half a dozen bandits who don't realize what we're holding, but they're basically just after some of our gold.
And all that crystal you're carrying. Yeah.
I can solve this one.
Alright, Trip, solve it.
So I have a power where I can change material from one material to another. We talked about this at the end of last session. I'm going to change some dirt into some gold and bribe them away.
Okay.
And that's how I would solve the bandits
Alright.
peacefully.
Alright, a few days later. What's your next problem?
Survived sandworm army defectors.
Alright, so, Vave, you come across a group of people who survived the sandworm attack. And they seem to have left their cult. How do you convince them not to mess with you all? Or do you even talk to them?
How many are there?
A handful. 5 or 6.
How big is the hand?
I'm gonna grab the head out of the bag and just hold it up.
All right, they all fall down on their knees and prostrate before you and claim that
Black
you're
nails.
their new leader. Congratulations.
Yes, I have minions. Woohoo!
Make them come with us.
Yeah.
Yeah, we need our new NPCs, right?
Our fodder, you mean?
Same difference.
Oh, did my golem survive?
He did, yes.
Is he still with us?
Yeah, yes.
Woohoo! That's all.
He's going to need mechanical assistance
Write that down.
to get fixed. All right, so Vave has started a new cult. That's cool.
I thought
Let me
we were
take
getting
that note
away from
down.
this warlord business.
Vave, you are a few days out from Druthan. What is the next issue that you guys run into that Miles will have to solve?
Heavy fog falls all across the land, so we have no idea where we're going.
Okay, how do you solve this, Miles?
Good question. How many days out did you say we were?
3 or so?
Okay. I'm going to say we end up just camping it out rather than trying to risk the, I don't know, possibility of walking in the wrong direction or getting lost. We're just going to hang out and camp out for a night and see and just let it pass through. Giving us time to relax a little bit and I guess be in the cool of a mist since, yeah.
All right,
That's
so
it.
you decide to enjoy all the fog after the dry desert air.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so you guys make it back to Druthan. A few weeks later, you have a small entourage that is following you that demands to be fed.
I'm not sharing.
And
Yeah.
if you don't, provide for them, they will riot on the streets.
All 5 of them.
All 5 of them.
I mean, you could just say, yeah, we're kind of sick of you following us.
Everybody else got minions. I want minions. Come on, guys.
You summoned your anyway. No, we're not gonna get into this. All right.
I'm going to procure casks of dwarven ale to bring to them to at least satiate them.
Alright.
Gangsta rule.
And then you get them drunk. Excellent. They are going to
Cool.
follow you guys everywhere now.
I think we should go straight to Boaz to get our money.
Yeah.
It's mid-afternoon when you guys get to Druthan.
I guess, yeah, we might as well go in and say, hey.
Somebody on the stream made mention of this, and it's not a bad idea. Maybe we just could feed these minions to Trip at some point.
I was thinking about this.
They are human beings. Just gonna point that out.
No, what we'll do is
5 pints of blood?
I was going to say we are heroes, and so our goal is to get people to be good, and so maybe we are bringing these people in as recruits for Boaz.
I mean, we could try, but also if they just drop their loyalties like that, who's to say they'll be loyal to Boaz? And maybe we should just kill them anyways. We tried to previously.
I mean, our goal wasn't
Okay,
to like
whoa.
kill
These are
everybody.
my minions. I'm gonna keep them for a little bit. Okay, let's just go to Boaz and
Then crack the whip, babe.
All right. So you guys get to the adventuring hall. Head
Yeah.
inside.
Yee.
Boaz is in a deep conversation with a dwarf. Dressed somewhat similarly to Darul in like barbarian leathers and furs. But there's something just a bit more wild about him. He seems to have almost a stone heavy presence, as if he is really in communion with the earth elements. And they're sitting there talking at the table, kind of in hushed tones. But as soon as you guys walk in, every conversation stops, and they both turn and look up at you. Boaz and the dwarf give each other a look, and Boaz says, you don't, not them. I'll get you somebody else.
I volunteer tribute.
You want to be tribute?
No, I don't want to be tribute, but sounds like you have a job, and we just completed one.
The dwarf kind of crosses his arms and he goes, I do. But I don't. If you still want a job after you're done with this, you can find me outside the walls.
Sounds good.
All right. And Boaz is sitting there, his chair. So, the heroes return. You were gone about a month. Month and a half, 2 months. Did you
Been
do
a
it?
solid month and a half, and I think we have. I'm gonna point over to Trip, or I guess you have it now, don't you?
no.
Oh, I'll point at Trip.
I mean, I thought Dave did have it because you were like, I take it out of the bag and show it to them, and that's how you got your minions. So I thought you just kind of took it. And
Oh, I thought I gave
like,
it back.
whatever.
It doesn't matter.
It is a
Oh.
shared item. Is how we'll deal with
So
it.
then I
Somebody has
take it out, and we're with Boaz now, right?
Mm-hmm.
I take it out and plop it in front of him.
I approve of this.
I do
Do
too.
you take
Might
the
as
head
well.
out of the bag and plop it, or just plop the bag with the head in it?
For added surprise on Boaz's side, I plop the bag in front of him as it's not open yet.
Okay. And he looks at it, and he looks at you, and he goes, is this the head?
That would be the head.
He sighs, and he pulls out a coin, and you guys recognize these coins as some of the ones that you have found at Van Savon Castle,
Cool.
out at the dungeon.
I was like this close to saying I hand him one of the coins that I have.
Oh. I mean, yeah, you can hand him one of those. But he pulls it out and he looks at it, and then he opens the bag and, like, peers in, compares, closes it again. So, which one of you did the killing blow?
That was me. I know the head might be a little bit more smushed after our travels, but
You know this, well, you have a guild bag, so it's not bad. Alright. Well, I don't keep that kind of cash and gold. here in the Adventuring League. I can get it from the bank for you, though. Do you want all of it, or would you like
5
to...
installments of 25K or 25K total.
Yes.
Wait, what?
It's 5 installments of 25K total.
Yes.
We get 25K. I have that in my notes.
Yes.
Um,
Do you want to open your own bank account, or would you like to haul this
Yes.
money around with you?
I would
Bank
rather
account.
open a bank account.
Are you all going in on this together, or is it separate?
We'll make
Together.
it together.
There was no discussion here.
Vabe wants a separate bank account?
I'm just glad Y is oddly silent today.
She has been very mopey since Orion left.
I know. I feel like she would have. You know what? And I think we'd all be in agreement that if she wanted her own share of 5 in her own account, she could have it.
Well, she would say we are all a family.
Why doesn't use money?
That's true. Too.
That's another good point.
All right. So, Boaz, good to my word. Still don't know how you did it, but it's impressive. So, this month,
Go ahead.
I'll put 5,000 into your bank account. If you want to take it out, you can take it out, but I'll start one under the Obsidian Souls. Next quarter, I'll add another 5,000. The same. Sorry, we don't have just 25,000 hanging around.
So you promised us that
We've got a party fund of
You'll get your
3,079.
Uh-huh.
Wait, how much?
3,079.
I think we spent some of that.
When? Because I don't have that noted. I might not have been there.
Maybe not.
I don't think so because
let's just call it
I have
9,000 even.
Oh, no. I have that written down.
375.
3,075.
I have 79.
Okay, so it'll be 3,068. We did spend a little bit of it.
Okay.
Let's just call it 9,000 even, and that's good, right?
No, I want to keep my money.
Okay. So, you now have a bank account in Druthin. You will have the paperwork in order to pull from that bank account anywhere within the Empire. You essentially have credit for 25,000 gold.
Cool.
If you want to cash it out and take it with you, it'll be a couple months before they can get all of that together. This is a border town. It's not the capital. But you guys now have 25,000 to your name.
Sounds like time for a shopping spree.
So, this is where we will end with you guys getting a bank account for the Obsidian Souls. And I have numbers written down.
Oh no, I was trying to avoid that earlier.
And
Please stop.
then we will pick up next week with you guys either talking to Boaz about more jobs or going and finding that dwarf outside of the city. Or if there's something else you guys want to go and do. But
Facials.
Free.
spa
And
day.
facials.
Babe, you want a spa day?
I was thinking we could go find the Red Alchemist and buy something like a wolfen or something.
That sounds oddly like you're looking for a slave.
I mean, just add to the party, right? It'll be
Menagerie.
great.
Just casually dismiss slavery. Nice. Very smooth.
Yeah. All right. Cool. Well, thank you so much for playing tonight, guys. I hope you had fun wrapping up the end of our Chitinous Dungeon arc. Congratulations in defeating everything. I don't know why you guys were so worried. You clearly are fine. You kill everything.
I just assumed it was going to be bad.
Yeah, there's so many things. You're too kind, Becca. You're scary.
Jeez.
Thank you. That's very kind of you to say. Thank you all to our viewers who have stuck around and watched us in our quarantine days. And it looks like they're going to continue for some time longer. Thank you for watching tonight. Again, this is most of the Obsidian Souls. Paul, Rachel, Lee, and Chris. And I am Becca, the GM. Thank you so much and have a lovely evening. Good night, everyone.